Welcome to another exciting episode of Doing Business Podcast. We don't seem to have a culture of patience here in the country. Most people want us to start a business and it should be successful in the next 12 months. It takes time going to work every day and doing the less sexy thing.
Yes. You know you're on your pathway to success when your lifestyle is annoying to you.
Nice. Welcome to the Doing Business Podcast. Let me introduce myself before I pass it over to you. I'm Tomi Ayorinde. I'm the CEO of PayForce by FairMoney, and super happy to have you here today. We've already started some conversations, so I can only imagine. I think the audience has a lot to learn today, and I'm looking forward to it. So please, let's get to know you.
My name is Ochije Nnani. I'm the co-founder of Fazsion Wholesale, the outlets.ng. Basically playing in the fashion tech business, and currently with the outlet.ng trying to build a chain of retail fashion stores, heavily backed by technology as well.
Oh, yeah, awesome. So fashion and technology, look forward to it. So I think when I started to read your profile, like the first thing that stuck to me was like you had like 2 or 3 brands going up there. I like to believe there's an inspiration behind that. So I'm curious, what's the inspiration behind these brands, right? So what are you what led to the creation of these businesses?
It's always economic empowerment, funny enough, right? Sustainability. I create these businesses because in the line of working in starting one, you find out that you may have to let people go, because when you start out large, right?
Yeah.
As you begin to narrow down, you're like, okay, this person is no longer relevant, but what is your skill set? What can you do? What can I create out of this? So that's why you see we started out with Fazsion Wholesale. We have a lot of sales team members. They grow so fast that they want to do something else. And out of it came the other business we're building, which is Tajiri. And then the other outlet is a case of, okay, I'm doing wholesale, but I want to also venture into retail. So I just become this person facilitating for my staff, for people that I work closely with. Yes.
Yeah, so I think it would be good to actually get your experience, right? Because something you must have built some experience that led to this, right? Before you launched the first business, which I'm guessing is the fashion wholesale business,
Yes.
what were you up to?
So interestingly, I have a medical background.
Are you kidding?
And then, but from day one, I knew I didn't want to practice, right? So I tried to do occupational health, safety, and environment, to go work in the oil and gas industry.
We all wanted
Yes, exactly, everyone. That's why I did my master's. I actually did my master's before I said, so to change my career. But after that, I didn't end up in oil and gas. I did management consulting. Then while doing management consulting, from university, I've always been buying, traveling abroad, and selling. So after NYC in a consulting firm, that was when Jumia launched.
Oh, okay.
You know, and fortunately, Jumia's CEO was staying in the same hotel that my sister owns, and I'm like, you guys, I go through your website, it's all messed up. You guys you don't have the right stuff, right? But that didn't lead me to working in Jumia. So one day I opened Jobberman. Jobberman was quite popular then, and I see a role for senior fashion buyer, and I said, it's only Jumia that can have such a role in Nigeria, no other business. So I applied, and I ended up with Jumia, heading the men's fashion category, and from Jumia I went to Konga. I was VP for fashion commercial, and launched a couple of fashion brands, private label brands, go to China, produce, come, sell. And then from there, like I said, we launched a marketplace on Konga, and then people started selling. And then I noticed there's a gap in the industry whereby the people selling on marketplace in Nigeria, where are they getting their products from? They go to AliExpress, but it's not curated for the Nigerian market, and they had a lot of challenges sourcing forex, logistics. Sometimes their goods are seized and all of that. They don't get what they pay for. And that's why we launched Fazsion Wholesale to plug that gap, yes.
To track that gap, yeah. You always find your next business where you are.
Yes, exactly.
Especially if you're doing it right.
Yes.
Right? You would always find the next problem as you solve one problem. And you must never forget, Jumia and Konga solved a huge problem, right? But in solving that huge problem, new problems
Came up.
And then it creates new opportunities for entrepreneurs again to kind of create that solution. I think that's amazing. That's amazing from Fashion Wholesale. And from Wholesale, then you now open the outlets business also.
Yeah, so open the outlet business because outlet is set up, once again, like I said, Nigeria, we don't have the outlet culture.
Yeah.
We have this culture of creating something very exclusive. I don't know where we get that idea from. Oh, I have this very big exclusive boutique.
Yeah.
And then I sell an item for 80K and it's for people of a certain class. And that's not the culture that's not my belief, right? My belief is that there are certain things that should be available to all kinds of people, no matter your social status, right? So the outlet has been set up to build that retail chain for fashion. The same you would see in the UK with TK Maxx or or in the US with Burlington or Ross, right? And multi-brand coming to a location, you would see everything you want at an average price point.
Yeah.
I always tell people, like, nobody believed you could go to the supermarket to buy tomato and pepper. We always associated buying stuff like that from being dirty in the market.
Dirty places,
right? But it's been changed by people like Ebano.
Yeah.
So can we do the same for fashion? And that's why the retail outlet has come up. And like I said, it's also a spin-off of the experience we've gathered. We already do this wholesale. We supply to retailers, right? Authentic brands. But it will also be nice to play in that industry. It helped the wholesale business garner insights, that's number one. Also to prepare for the coming of the brands into Nigeria, because a lot of them from conversation we're having want to come into Nigeria. And they're looking for who is the person that will come in and like, oh, you have 10 locations, okay, I take over. And you've also built the brand to the level that people can identify with you in terms of authenticity, in terms of price point, in terms of confidence as well.
Yeah, actually, you mentioned two things I think we need to drill down to, right? Because we are trying to talk to entrepreneurs and people looking to start their business, right? So what does it take? We don't have a lot of chains in Nigeria. There's a reason why, right? Why is that the case? And what does it take to build chains, sustainable outlets and chains, retail chains here in Nigeria?
Number one, definitely there's vision, right? Vision is humbling. Vision, humbling in terms of you have to wake up every day and see yourself as a chief servant, right, of whatever vision you have, right? And you have to drive it every day. Number two is we tend to forget this, but operations, it's something that needs to be very much looked into. And when I say operations, I've also seen people do it the other way, right? They launch this big brand, this build outlay, that the customer-facing aspect of the business, and then when they bring in the customers, it does not it doesn't equate to what people have seen. So. And in terms of operations, it's about the human beings that you've got working for you, being properly trained, having the right experience, and the use of technology. I always tell anyone that cares to listen, I pay a huge sum on technology subscriptions every month, right? And I don't have any regrets because that helps me serve the customer better. I don't want you to come into the outlet and waste time. So, but this in a nutshell doesn't include the normal stuff you would hear about financing, right? And the challenge with infrastructure. I believe in starting small. When I mean starting small, it doesn't mean you just do something mediocre, but starting small in terms of you have to do the bare minimum that will make your operation or your business very efficient. Also reduce your operational costs. With the outlet, our vision is go in partnership with already existing locations so that I don't have to invest a lot of capital, right? I don't have to invest a lot of capital buying generator. The same stuff that people complain about. Why do you need to buy a generator when I can just go to maybe an urban and say, give me this space. As I make money, I pay you monthly, so it becomes an OPEX, no longer a CAPEX, right? So that's the model. And then again, you build a prototype. Is it working on a small scale? What is my margin on a small scale? Then whatever you've learned from it, then you can upscale. So that's it for me.
I think for me, the critical thing there is patience. Yeah. Because we don't seem to have a culture of patience here in the country. Most people want us to start a business and it should be successful in the next 12 months, right? But if you're going to build something extremely successful that will stand the test of time, then you need to spend time to build it. It takes time to build a chain. TK Maxx and all these other brands, it wasn't just a one-year activity. It was over time, sticking to it, going to work every day and doing the less sexy thing until you build out that chain. And then you build out that distribution, then somebody...
Yes, exactly. And like entrepreneurship, there's something, while at Jumia, my boss was Tunde Kende, right? And there's something I heard him say one time. He said, you're on your pathway to success when your lifestyle is annoying to you.
Nice.
And the way you realize your lifestyle is annoying is that you become very regimented. You work longer hours.
The ugly things.
You do the ugly things. So I'm up at night reconciling accounts. So even if I don't have an automated finance platform, I'm up at night doing Excel spreadsheets, trying to make it make sense, right? I'm up thinking, and that's what I tell people, right? If you don't think, you can't grow. So I spend a considerable amount of time just thinking about different scenarios and how to solve problems, right? And you can now come, because if you're the vision of the business, you're the one to pass the vision across to your team. If you don't figure it out, they don't know what to do next. So that's another thing every Nigerian needs to understand, to layer on top of the patience that we talk about. And that's why you have to be patient. I can come here and talk about, this is what you need to do, but probably that took me 1 year to learn it, and then if I talk about it like, that's easy, just 1 hour, so that's where patience comes in, and then longevity in your plan.
Yeah, I agree. And just to drill down also to distribution, right? I think we don't say it enough, and I think we talked about it, and I want you to just touch on it a bit again now, right? Because you're potentially building this distribution chain today, right? And I think entrepreneurs and founders need to understand the importance of distribution over just building the product over time, right? How important do you think distribution is in the grand scheme of this business we are all running today?
If you talk about scaling in anything you do, it is distribution. We can move 10,000 units of stock in a month. The only reason that would happen is distribution, diverse distribution. Some of my biggest customers for Fazsion Wholesale are not in Lagos, right? And something else I didn't mention is that for a couple of years now, we've been in partnership with Spa. So every Spa you go to, there's a fashion, it's like it's fashion within Spa businesses. That's also that's called distribution, and that's my value in terms of business. You have to put the product in the hands of the customer no matter what. So we have diverse price points based on our distribution points. I'm not going to remain exclusive to people that live in a particular area or people. It needs to get to everyone, and that's why you see people like Dangote, doing big numbers, it's because of distribution. That's why I see Indomie doing big numbers. It's distribution. So no matter what you do, no matter the product you have, if you don't distribute, you will run out of steam at some point. So distribution is very important. So while we do wholesale, like I said, we saw a value chain in creating our own outlet just to build a brand, but we're also in partnership with businesses that are already across the country. Because if I can't get to Calabar myself, Spar will get to Calabar for me. We are big in Ibadan, not because we're in Ibadan, but because we're partners with Foodco. So distribution is key. And then it helps you strategize and have a product assortment based on who you're dealing with and what the different price points. So and you get to hear that a lot nowadays. People have realized that it's not about the product, it's about what is it.
Yeah, as you get more second-time founders, people are starting to realize distribution is key now. And I think when you look at businesses also being acquired, you will find that the ones that are being acquired are the ones that have built out distribution, right? Products can be replicated, right? But that time, that 1, 2, 3 years you have spent in building out a distribution line, that's what businesses want to acquire. And because they don't want to go through that 1 to 3 years, they want to acquire it as soon as possible. Yeah.
And that's why I said one of the reasons we're building the outlet, which is the fashion retail outlet, is because the conversation already happening behind the scene. Some brands want to come into Nigeria, but they don't want to come into Nigeria and be the ones to build out the distribution. So they could come in and say, oh, you have distribution and you've learned lessons already, and you built up a brand value that we can tap into, and that's it. Yeah. Which is one aspect an entrepreneur needs to have, that vision. That foresight to make sure that I'm building today, but I will reap in 4 or 5 years, which is the patience.
Yes, patience, foresight. So let me dig a bit into your, I want to call it your starting business story, where you are starting the business, right? I think I like to hear every entrepreneurs, the process, what they went through in starting, right? Because you always have the people who believe in you, the people who are like, are you crazy? So I'm curious if you have any of those funny stories, because I have mine, right? It's I got reported to my pastor, like, why is he living a good business?
If you do not have people that don't believe in your vision, the closest people, that means you're not doing something right, or you're not being, you're not creating new value, because people are used to. So the outlet that I'm creating, right, I've had a lot of people that are close to me are like, are you sure this will work? People are shopping online. Are you sure? Like, especially when I opened it, and then it was like the first month revenue. It's like, are you sure? So you would definitely have people that are closest to you that when you think about it, you begin to doubt yourself. Maybe this person knows me much more than I know myself. So I told someone close to me the other day that at some point I will want to launch a venture capital firm that will focus on fashion and lifestyle. Like in the US, you find brands like Tommy Hilfiger, Calvin Klein, and not the creative aspect is owned by the brand, but the business aspect is owned by a different. So PVH is responsible for Tommy Hilfiger, Calvin Klein. So they just invest and make sure that there's distribution and they get their money back. So the person is like, oh, why don't you do your own first and be successful before you start doing that, right? Even this outlet you're creating, are you sure? So, but that's one aspect, But by day, if it begins to make sense, like, oh, okay, sorry, I doubted you. That's the outlet. With Fazsion Wholesale, like I said, we started out Fazsion Wholesale. Fazsion actually was supposed to be B2C e-commerce.
Okay.
Bringing the so people order with shipping. I have a partner, Bo, and Bo, when we did, I looked at it and I said, we can't scale with B2C. We want to do authentic brands. The price points will sell for, maybe a lot of Nigerians will not be able to afford it. So we can't really scale. Let's do B2B. So we bring in the product and then we sell. But my guy is like, no, this is not what we agreed. Like the margins are slim or like whatever. And I said, this is the only way we can scale, number one. And secondly, the market is telling you we need this. let's follow the market, let's do this. And funny enough, if we did not pivot at that point in time, we wouldn't be in business today. So we have had a lot of people, not doubt our ability, the vision, basically. Yeah.
Speaking of pivoting, that's a different old topic entirely, because you need to know when the market is telling you something else and respond to the markets, right? Ultimately, because in my own career, I've had to pivot like 3 times, right? At every point in time, you realize the customer has changed again, and then you pivot again, right? I think for our first product, during the market research, everybody's like, this is such amazing products. Amazing product, we'll use it, we'll do that. And then I build the products, I send you an invoice, and there's no payment. What the heck is happening here?
Oh, why don't you do this? Why don't you do that way? Yeah.
Just come up with more things, right? And then we did the first pivot, and we immediately got an invoice and someone paid. Then I knew, okay, fine. Now we're on to something. So it made sense. Let's pivot and move to the next thing. Yeah, awesome. So at what point did you think, and maybe you've already answered it, you were on the right track? Because when you start, you don't always know if you're on the right track or not, right?
Is there ever any point where you feel like you're on the right track? I was thinking, even at the moment, I always imagine that, dude, are you sure? Especially in a country like Nigeria where you can't really plan, So, in my type of business, like you start out the year with your finance, doing a budget based on $550 to $1. And then you realize it's 950, and then you're thinking like, am I really doing the right stuff? So there's never any point, maybe unless you've gotten to a point where maybe you've IPO'd, maybe that's when you can now say, okay, I'm really in it. You can imagine Jumia went to the market, it was $1 billion business. But now I'm sure they're also asking themselves the same question, like, am I on the right track? So for them to come back and say, okay, we're trying to do things differently, means that also there's doubt. Not that there's doubt, but there's need to reevaluate as the market changes. You've seen a lot of devaluation of valuation of businesses a lot. If it was perfect, there wouldn't be such devaluation. So I don't think I'm there yet. I'm only encouraged when I see businesses springing up that are trying to do the same thing that I do, right? And also as the market changes, I find different ways to stay on top of it. So for instance, with our business, like I said, we're optimizing with technology. Before, I would order stock and then keep in my warehouse and then try to sell to customers. Now, we've changed in such a situation that, my supplier says, I have this, I take the sample, I show the customer, and I match. So I see myself going from a first party B2B platform to a third party, whereby I don't buy the stock, I'm just connecting buyers and sellers because I've already acquired this customer. So that way, I make sure that I tie down, my cash flow, I don't tie down my cash, and I make sure that the turnaround time is better than before. So yeah,
awesome. So let's drill down to technology then. Yeah. I think we've talked about it. Technology in itself is useless, right? Yes. But it needs to be applied to something to create value, right? And especially in the Nigerian African market today, you need to always find ways to leverage technology to optimize your business. So I'm curious, in what ways have you leveraged technology to optimize your business processes?
Okay, so when it comes to the wholesale, right, like we have a tech support team in Vietnam helping us build our tech business. We actually have a very unique tech platform. Because what we did was simulate a lot of the learnings offline and then bring it online, right? So it's kind of localized technology. People can come on our platform and price and bargain, right? So and also the wholesale quantities, like in Europe, wholesale quantities will be a container, 10,000 units. But in Nigeria, the market is all a lot of SMEs. So our wholesale is built to the level that a lot of SMEs in Nigeria can buy 5, 10, 15, 20 across smaller units, yes. And then, so when you come, you order and then you bargain. Then the system would respond to let you know that your bargain has been approved based on a couple of back-end factors. What is the age of the inventory? Can we take a hit on the margin or whatever our expectation, right? And also our technology, our front end actually acts as, before now our salespeople will call, oh, how many of these items do you have? We have a customer that wants it. So now once you go to the platform, you just check, it tells you the quantity available on the back end or the supplier has. So that's where technology is being applied, right? And also, you can request for the samples online as well. Before, all this used to be manual. So this is just a manifestation of technology for us, right? So when people come to our location, you just see the product, the samples. Oh, I want this. It has a barcode scan. I order. Either I'm good with it, I check out. If I'm not good with it, I can say, oh, I want 1,000 units at 2,000 naira. And then you bargain, and then we'll confirm and get back to you. And, so that's technology for us in terms of wholesale. Now with technology, so our back end is Magento. Products upload. So we have a snag with, we have what we call pre-order, in stock, and all of that will have to manually change every now and then. Even product upload on Magento is done, with our CSV file. But now we're working in such a way that once a supplier gives me product, it's on a sheet, then we're connecting Magento to the sheet via Zapier.
Oh, nice.
So that once you change any information, maybe dollars down to 1,000 naira, I change 1,000 naira, I put the cost at 1,000 naira, it changes, it notifies Magento. No, we are still working on it. It's crazy, So that's technology, So nowadays, because what happens is that if you upload a lot of sheets on Magento, it may break.
Yeah.
But with Zapier, it's seamless. Changes, just run a cron job. And then also we have a lot of connection between our Magento backend to our inventory management system. Our warehouse is automated. When an order drops, the location is seen. So that's so we have a full stack back end of technology, right? In terms of the retail outlets, what we're trying to do is that each location becomes a distribution center. So these products may be in this physical shop, but when you go to the website to order, it tells you where these products are. So it's not like you're ordering and it will deliver from a warehouse. So you can come, if we open Lekki, you can come to Lekki location and you see all the products in Lekki. So if we live within Lekki, you order products in Lekki and in 2 hours delivered to you. If you live in Ikeja, the items come from the outlet. So this is what we're building on the back end of, in addition to quick checkouts and all of that. And the important thing about technology for us is data analysis. So you can make better decisions and respond to markets quickly.
Oh, that's amazing. Seems like you have a whole full core IT team driving, IT powerhouse driving it there.
Yeah. A lot of back end.
Awesome. So let's talk FairMoney, right? Mm-hmm. And interestingly, I like that we talked about your time at Jumia and Konga, and one of the biggest issues was payments, right? That's what we are trying to solve at PayForce by FairMoney, right? We know you use PayForce by FairMoney POS at some of your location. Tell us what your experience is and how that has helped you in your day-to-day payment collection.
Okay. It's seamless collection, right? Resolution of issues. I've come from a background where payments, you're scared, where if this order will be completed or not because there's a payment issue, or I've paid, have you not received it, seamless customer service. I would say that's one thing you shouldn't overlook, right? I'm very particular about customer service. Before now, I'll get a call from I'll be somewhere and then I get a call. Oh, please, can you help me confirm transfer of 2,000 naira? I'm in the middle of a meeting, But at the same time, the customer is not happy because you're delaying the customer, But with FairMoney now, they have the login, and then you check for yourself even on the stuff, and then you don't need to call anyone. It's seamless. Payments go through all the time, and you find a situation whereby you can set the timeline you want the money to be remitted into another account, and every morning I wake up, I'm like, okay, PayForce. My money has landed, and I've also spoken to a couple of other people that use PayForce, and that's what they've also told me the feedback has been. So it's actually been for me, the most important thing is that customer service, seamless customer service. Looking forward to the layer up of, soft loans for businesses. Because you see that a lot with our wholesale, the retailers that buy from us wholesale. So we're getting to a point whereby if PayForce offers this, I'm like, okay, you know what? You want to buy stock all the time, you can use a PayForce. They will give you some upfront money to buy more stock so you can turn over quicker and make more money. So it's been...
I don't want to let the cat out of the bag, but we're working on something.
Okay.
We're working on something.
Okay. Looking forward to that.
Yes.
Yeah. And then what I was going to find out is online integration of payments, because we are moving to a situation. So we use Zero for our financial this. So we find out that in Zero it's possible to send someone a link to pay you an invoice, payment links, right? So maybe I look forward to that, so that even if my customer is completing payment online or completing payment offline, is there a payment link, that translates to a USSD or whatever, right? So I look forward to seeing that from PayForce as well.
We love customers like you. Feedback. So we'll keep that in mind. It's part of what we're working on. Trying my best not to tell you everything.
Okay.
But just follow us on Instagram and follow us on all our social media platforms. We'll let you know very soon. We've just released a feature also that allows your customer to transfer money to an account, and then the POS will automatically print the receipt.
Wow. Okay.
Right? So they don't even need to call you to confirm. They don't even need to go to their dashboard to confirm anymore.
Okay.
The POS will confirm it, print it out, and we're good.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's what we're trying to achieve: seamless payments. We've gone through it, right? Kunga, Jumia, into Switch. It's been a long journey trying to fix payments, right? And I like the way that a lot of fintechs have come up to fix one part. Now we're all coming together to put it all in one simplified way, right? And that's what we're going to be doing going forward.
There's an aspect that, I said this, a lot of what we do in Nigeria with the population we have is trade, buying and selling. In addition to the payment parts, and a value add would be the inventory management.
I agree.
A lot of, so like I said, I'm just coming from the market this morning. A lot of people have POSs. It's getting popular. But the challenge they're now having is inventory management, which most times is the challenge of scaling. Because if you have a lot of headache managing one location, you don't want to go to the second location. So if that could be layered on top of it, so that, okay, I bring in inventory, this is my cost, this is how much I'm selling for, and then this is POS, all integrated in one.
Perfect.
You win me. I pay a lot of dollars every month. If I get a local guy solving that problem, I start paying these dollars that I pay. Yeah.
Awesome. Looking forward to helping more businesses. That's what we live for, right? We want to simplify business, right? Payment collections, business banking for businesses. So let's go into our Nigeria.
Okay.
Right. This is where we are. This is where we belong. This is where we'll be running this business, right? What are the challenges you're facing running a business in Nigeria here?
Okay.
And what advice do you have for other entrepreneurs?
Human resource. What I want to is gotten. I've heard people complain about this 3-4 years ago, but it's gotten.
It's still a complaint today.
Yes, and it's gotten worse. Right?
And it's amazing, right? We have a high unemployment rate, and yet human resource is still a big problem, right?
Yes, and you find out that in a team, you employ a lot of people just because you need like 3 or 4 people to solve problem that one person can solve, right? And you have to micromanage a lot. That's a challenge, human resource. The flip side of it is that the exceptionally good ones know that they're very good and become what I call guerrilla mercenaries. You know what? Pay me. I don't care about your interests. I don't care about the vision of the business. Pay me my money, I grab my money and move on. So 2-3 months, they're out. Meanwhile, if taking time to train to get, so human resources is a challenge, right? I believe the human resource experts can find solutions to that. Japa has added to it.
Yeah, I'm hoping there's somebody watching today.
Yeah, so there's
going to be inspired to try and solve this problem.
Yeah. And then number 2, definitely for my kind of business, would be the fluctuation in the forex rates. You can't really plan. So you can have tons of naira, but are you gonna buy your stock at 1,000 naira to $1, and then before it arrives it drops to 750? Are you not gonna, what rate are you gonna use? You're right. So that's a big problem for my type of business. And then also, I believe everyone is experiencing the same. If you have people spending more of their money on items, they call items such as food. Basically, once the buying power drops, it impacts businesses like ours. And it's not just in ours. You can also see that actually in food. Food is the core that most Nigerians spend. Over 70% of our income in food. It's going higher with the inflation. So you see a drop in the buying power of Nigerians, which impacts our business. So human resource, number 1. Number 2, the forex rate. Number 3, you would say buying power. And finally, is the adoption of technology, right? Which kind of relates to the literacy level, and if people can adopt technology better, you find that it's easier to scale. But if not, you have to keep struggling with scale if you do everything manually.
So as we always say here, these problems are opportunities for someone to solve, right? Look forward to somebody picking them and solving them. Before we round up, any advice for entrepreneurs out there running their business or those looking to start?
Okay.
Any general advice from your wealth of experience?
I would say the economic situation may be tough, but this is time to double up. Because what's going on now is that the barrier to entry is getting higher.
Yeah.
So a lot of businesses will be separated from people that are serious about business and adding value, will be separated from businesses that are just there to cash out. What I would always ask anyone that would ask me for an advice is, are you in business to add value, or are you in business to cash out? If you're in business to cash out and move on. But if you're in business to add value, you have to be resilient, right? So that resilience is very, very important. You may have a tough time, but this is the time for you to either upscale your brand, upscale your value, and step out from the general whatever people, the mediocre stuff people do. And then in a year or 2, you begin to reap your reward. That's it,
It takes time to build a brand, stick to it, right?
Keep iterating, getting better at it, and then you get rewarded at the end of the day, and then there needs to be a grand vision to everything you do. You have to deliberately work towards it every day.
Not that you want to cash out in the next 12 months.
And always try to build a great team. The staff needs to be happy to the much you can do, right, within your ability. So they should be priority, and also just weed out the people that do not agree with the vision. So I'd rather have a teachable person than someone that just have it, like I would say, a generally bad vibe.
Yeah.
Affecting the rest of the team. The world is already too difficult. You can't come to work and add, so people need to come to work, have fun, be happy, and they can see that we're all building this together. And the day you feel like, I've garnered enough knowledge and I want to step up, goodbye, good alumni, go and spread our story. We've done our best, and we'll meet up at some point. So team also very important in building out.
Thank you very much. I think we were just talking about the fact that we need to have more of this, right? If anybody can just pick one of this so that I don't make the same mistakes we made. I think it will be good time well spent.
Yes.
Right. Thank you for spending time with us at Doing Business Podcast.
Okay. Thank you for having me. It's actually been nice spending time with you and your team, and good work you're doing with FairMoney. Your success is our success, actually.
Yeah, it's all our success. We look forward to helping each other and healing. Thank you for tuning in today's episode of Doing Business by PayForce by FairMoney. Remember, you can watch any previous episodes by tuning in on any of our platforms shown on the screen below. Thank you.